A right. A right is that which is due to anyone by just claim, legal guarantees, or moral principles. The U.S. Constitution has several amendments that prohibit voter discrimination, but none that guarantee voting as a right. The states have been left to decide. However, state policies have, for the most part, treated voting more as a privilege than a right. Such has been the case for convicted felons in most states who have served their sentences, including parole and probation. Florida, Kentucky, and Iowa are among the worst. These three states are where convicted felons never regain the right to vote. However, the midterms of 2018 changed that reality in Florida. On the ballot this year was the Voting Rights Restoration for Felons Initiative. Proposed by the Floridians for a Fair Democracy, this initiative took a very principled approach, viewing voting as a right. The proponents of this initiative disregarded the possible consequences and determined that this was the right cause and the right time. Amendment 4, if passed, would restore voting rights to convicted felons who have completed their sentences, including parole and probation, excluding convicted murderers and sex offenders. Proponents also say about 1.6 million African Americans in Florida could be affected. A quarter of all felons in the U.S. that can't vote reside in Florida. Their argument is clear. When a debt is paid, it's paid. Furthermore, it creates an enormous new pool of voters that adds to the electorate. That's the fear of the opponents of this amendment. Their objection is more outcome and consequential driven. The Floridians for Sensible Voting Rights Policy and most conservatives argue that this amendment, since it will benefit African Americans, will give an unfair advantage to Democrats. Yet the reality of that argument remains to be seen. No one knows for sure how many felons will register to vote, or how many will show up to vote on election day, or who they will support. However, two things we know for sure. One, Amendment 4 passed overwhelmingly with over 60% of the vote. And two, barring any delays in implementation by the Florida legislature, January 8th, 2019, they will be able to go to the election offices in their county and register to vote. Stay tuned.